There's no way to start a video talking about a friend who passed away. And I want to go a little bit deeper into our background, the channel. I don't know how long this is going to be. Background, our channel, Billy, our friendship, leading up to the day where everything happened. I'm sure many of you are aware, or all of you, if you're watching this video, of Billy and Jay from the Game Chasers. One of the channels, I'll put a little screen. When we started our old channel about 14 years ago, we used to have a little graphic that would pop up saying, we're inspired by a few different channels to make videos, and the Game Chasers are one of them. I just want to start out saying I wouldn't be here in this community if it wasn't for what Billy did. Yes, of course, Jay as well in many of these, but I'm just going to be, referring to Billy because that's, the more detriment of this video. I wouldn't be doing what I do, and I dare say that, and I say this with humility, there's channels like Retro Rick and Chase After the Right Price who say, they were inspired to make videos because of us, and that's why they made YouTube. But without Billy and Jay, we wouldn't have done this, and I don't know how big of an ecosystem wouldn't exist without them. Before getting into Billy as a person and life, and one of the hardest days I've had in a long time was the Game Chasers and Billy's creativity sparked a revolution in the world of video games and the collecting community especially. I wouldn't say they were the very first. They were one of the first, though, making, collecting videos. But the Game Chasers were the first channel that sparked in me something that made me want to make videos about collecting, but not even necessarily about collecting. My brain was more sparked by like creativity and video style and editing and showing off what you do in a more TV style or well done style. Easily the biggest inspiration on me to this day within creativity and humor. If I didn't say this yet, in this video, I don't know. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know where my thoughts are going to be, how they're going to be, what. I'm going to be probably all over the place. Billy and I were good friends. And getting the news, we were actually live doing a live stream on Whatnot, and we got a message from somebody in the audience was like, "Hey Billy, have you seen what happened to Billy?" And I was like, "No, what happened? Oh my gosh, what am I missing?" After we stopped the stream, we went and looked and found on the Game Chasers page that Billy's in the hospital. We've been friends for so long, and I'll go into more of that and all the videos and things we've done together. It was devastating to see your friend dealing with something that was in the unknown. I texted Billy immediately. And at that time, he was able to text back, a couple messages like, "Thank you for reaching out. It's a brain tumor." As things progressed throughout the week and, Billy was struggling more, I was getting little voice chats back from Billy saying that, he was struggling a little more. And as time went on, I'm not going to go through everything because I don't know if that's respectful or not respectful or what's private or not. I know certain things are, but, I know Billy was doing better and things were looking good. And then I get one of my least favorite calls I've ever had, and it was from Jay, who's a great friend of mine as well. And Jay is he's on his way to the hospital, and he tells me that, Billy fell. And again, I'm not going to go into details about everything because I want to stay, respectful to the family. And it was tough. At that moment, it didn't soak in until after the phone call. And sorry, I'm jumping around. My brain is not, and Jay's telling me what happened. And I'm sitting there like, I'm just shocked at the downturn of what's happening in the events. And, Jay tells me he might not make it. And, it's hitting on me a bit. Jay, I'm here for you. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? We end up talking. He hangs up, and, for the first time in my children's life, they saw me crying. And as soon as Jay hung up, I just couldn't stop crying. It all hit me the minute Jay hung up, and it was hard. My son came over and gave me the biggest hug, and it meant so much to me. And And I think it was hard on my son, and he was crying. And he's only met, maybe Billy once in his life, but he was crying because his youth group had been praying for Billy. And it's tough, you're losing a friend. You have to explain to your kids the best you can that things don't always, work out. And there was still that moment of hope, like, well, maybe, I know it's looking like things aren't going to work, but well, maybe, and it's like, what's that fine line of like, I'm not expecting a miracle, but I'm also being, in a moment of reality. And, I walked in the house and my daughter saw me crying, and they almost freaked out in a almost comical way, because like, oh my gosh, Dad's crying. Like we've never seen this before. And it was a tough day from there to the next day, because all I could think about was Billy and what's his situation. And I ended up getting a text from Jay the next morning, kind of telling me the situation wasn't looking so good. And again, I'll be as private as I can about everything, about like actual details. And, I don't want to get into too much, because I just want to make sure I'm not overstepping again. I get a call from Wood, and he tells me what happened to Billy and that he passed. And it's such a sad, sad feeling to lose a friend and an inspiration, and, someone that you owe so much of your success to as well. From running, so much has spawned out of me picking up a camera and deciding to follow what they do and film videos about collecting. From running conventions to YouTube to editing for all these people in my entire life. And I owe so much of that to Billy's work. There was some comforting moments in that, I will say. Wood got to share with me, and it was so good to hear, but obviously also horrible given the situation, telling me that, Billy did see all my last texts and all the things I'd been texting him, spamming him even when he couldn't answer. I'm here for you. I love you. I'll pray for you. Anything you need. And one thing that's cool, and it sucks at the same time, is the last thing Billy ever texted me was, I love you. And it feels good that, that's the last thing he said to me, which is great. You couldn't ask for a better thing for someone to text you before they pass. I texted him a message after too, when I knew he had already passed. Just telling him how much I love him, how much he meant to us, how much he means to the group, to my friends, to my life in general. And it was, it just sucked, and it's so hard, because in those moments, myself as a believer, it's like you want to have the right words, but there are no words. It just sucks, especially in that moment, that day. It just sucks. It's hard to see the brighter picture of whatever that may be, right? But it's so hard to see any brightness in something so sad and horrible and shocking, and immediately after, and this almost makes me a little upset too, is that, sometimes it takes stuff like this, and not saying it takes, I don't want to put those words out there, like it took that to do this, but when events like this happen, sometimes that's what will spark the ignite in people to call other people. And for me and all my friends, we share a special bond on YouTube with Billy and the Game Chasers, because being around for so long on YouTube, some of the OGs, Johnny and I were talking, Happy Console Gamer, calling us the granddads. We started YouTube at this time when it was very different. Views weren't easy to get. There wasn't, millions of views on people's videos and people's doing crazy challenges. It was just people collecting video games and talking about games. And the only heartwarming thing in that day was that I mean, I talked to, I'm not joking, the day Billy passed, I talked to all the OGs. Everybody started calling each other. And it was really heartwarming that it was just like a brotherhood of men, who became sad, but also wanted to make sure that we all know we love each other. And it's so important to tell people that you don't wait until someone passes. I'm thankful that I've been talking to Billy this whole time and letting him know I love him. And we just had him on the podcast, like he was just in a room with us. And like what Lance and I were saying, it's from early retroware and happy console gamer on the phone is like, how Billy? Like he's he's the buff guy. He's strong. He's funny. He's charismatic. It doesn't matter your health. It doesn't matter the perception of your life. You don't know when your last day is. I don't care who you are. I'm so sick of people picking if someone is worth celebrating or not. You're worth celebrating. Just your everyday people who are going through life. Let them know you love them. Like you can't wait anymore. It's funny, not funny, but Wood and I, we honestly hadn't talked in a really long time, and we don't even know why. And as soon as we talked, I was like, Wood made a comment like, let's keep talking from here. I don't want to wait till something else to talk to someone again. Whatever a difference may be. I don't even know if there was a difference or what it was. If you have a family or a friend or anybody that you've ever loved or cared about and you don't talk to them anymore, and especially if there was some reason you didn't, reach out to them. No difference is worth waiting until after someone's passed. Billy and I had done so many things together that honestly, I know a lot of you are newer viewers that you guys probably wouldn't even know. Just so many small videos and small things. And one of the biggest thing I celebrated with Billy is that he was always willing to be with small creators, do videos with them. He was never too big for them. Never too, oh, I'm a bigger YouTuber. I get hundreds and thousands of views. None of this stuff is important. These small fries. No, that was never his persona. It's tough. I'm so sorry for all the pauses and all the thinking. No matter how much grief you can move on from grief or think you move on from grief, there'll be days where you wake up and you'll want to text your friend again. And I'll be sad. And I'll want to text Billy that was a funny video or that was a funny clip or I appreciated that edit. It's tough to know you can't do that. And, there's probably moments of freedom where you're like, it's good that my friend's not in pain anymore. But there's also moments, like I just said, where you're just going to wish you could text him a fart joke. If there's anything we know about Billy, it's to live life, enjoy it. Every day's a gift. Every freaking day's a gift. I am so tired of the mindset, and I'm guilty of it too, where you wake up and you're grumpy because you're grumpy and it's a tough day and your boss was a little mean or something. You got to celebrate each day, regardless of your beliefs. If you wake up with breath, it's a good day. It's a chance to do something. It's a chance to text somebody or call somebody. It just is. Again, my biggest takeaway is just love on your fellow brother or sister, man. Put your stupid differences aside. I'm not saying me and Billy had any, because we really didn't. I'm just talking life in general at this point. Put your differences aside. Whatever it is. Call people. Talk to them. Love on them. Pray for them. Help them. Give them your time. You'll never regret it. I don't know the situation with a GoFundMe. There's been some communication back and forth. Not going to get into stuff that you guys don't need to know. If there is any sort of GoFundMe or anything, definitely I'll leave it down there if there is. Also, I am putting ads in this video because I'm hoping they will allow me to send them the money from this video, the family. Pray for them. My goodness. I don't even want to talk about his son. I'm going to cut that part out. I don't want to talk about their family at all. Pray for their family. That's all I can say. I love you guys. There's no proper way to end a video like this. It's just sad. Thank you for being here. For real. Thank you for being here.